Hi everyone, and welcome back to Mission 1820. In this week's episode, have you ever wondered? We're currently in a series called Books of the Bible, and we've been giving introductions into each book of the Bible in just 5 minutes or less. So if you're just joining us, we're currently going through the wisdom and poetical books of the Old Testament. So without further ado, let's get started. This week's introduction is in the book of Psalms. Now, this is the 19th book of the Bible, and it's also the second of the 5 wisdom and poetical books that we're going to be covering. Few books in the Old Testament are as popular among modern readers as the book of Psalms. It is without doubt the largest, and perhaps it's the most widely used book in the entire Bible, because its 150 Psalms explore, I think, the full range of human experiences in a very personal and practical way for each of us. But it also helps us focus our thoughts on God as we give Him the praise and adoration. The Psalms are actually ancient songs that were set to the accompaniment of stringed instruments, and they serve as the temple hymn book as well as the devotional guide for the Jewish people. As a matter of fact, the word psalm actually comes from the Greek word psalmos. This means a set piece of music accompanied with the voice or harp. The book itself is really just 5 different books, and they're divided in this way. The first covers chapters 1 through 41, with the main author being King David. The second book is chapters 42 through 72, and the main authors here are King David as well as the 2 sons of Korah. The third book is chapters 73 through 89, and its main author is Asaph. Now, the fourth book is chapters 90 through 106. Unfortunately, the majority of the authors here are not known. And then finally, we have the 5th book, and that's chapters 107 through 150. And again, the main author is King David. As for all the authors, David wrote 73 of them, and there's another 50 that had no names attached to them, so they're essentially anonymous. Now, a few of the other authors include Asaph, the sons of Korah, Solomon, Moses, Heman, and Ethan. As for the time span of the book, it's probably around 1,000 years, from 410 to 430 BC. Psalm 90 is the oldest, and it was written by Moses. And Psalm 137 is actually the latest. Now, this was a psalm of lament that was written during the days of the Hebrews' Babylonian captivity. Then we have the most well-known and popular, and that's the 23rd Psalm. Now, I'm going to share with you just a little insight on how the Psalms are actually written, because Hebrew poetry, they have a strong use of what's called parallelism in their writing, so that they could show a relationship of one verse to another. And there's 4 of these. The first is synonymous parallelism. This is where the second line of a verse actually repeats the idea of the first line. You'll see this in chapter 3, verse 1 and chapter 24, verse 1. The second is antithetic parallelism. This is where the thought of the second line is contrasted with the first line. You'll see this in chapter 1, verse 6 and chapter 90, verse 6. The third is synthetic parallelism. This is when the second line is just a further development of the thought in the first. And you'll see that in chapter 1, verse 1 and chapter 19, verse 7. And then lastly, the emblematic parallelism. This is where the second line illustrates the thought of the first line by using a simile. And you'll find this in chapter 42, verse 1. I think having this understanding really helps us to open up the Psalms as we read them. And so let me close with this. As you read and you meditate on the book of Psalms, remember that God, He is the same God in all of these Psalms. But each of us respond to Him in very different ways according to whatever specific circumstances might be going in our lives right now. So with that, I hope that this introduction is going to help get you started in the book of Psalms. So God bless, and thanks for watching.